All right, everyone, we're in the building. The building's warm. Outside, I'd estimate is like 55 degrees. In here, it's almost room temperature. It's nice. All right, here we go. Lighting up the torch. Give it a minute. Once it gets going, it'll be super bright, and we'll walk around the halls in a creepy fashion. It's gonna be scary. Let's give it a minute to light up real good. All right. Give it a minute to spread around. That's going to give us some good light, maybe for 20 minutes or so walking around. And good, it's real cotton. It's not falling apart like a piece of plastic. All right, let's walk around the building.
Ooh, that looks cool.
Yeah. It's generating a lot of heat. That's cool. That thing is so hot. One thing I learned, if we make another torch, make it a little bit smaller. My hand's getting a bit hot. Let's wander the cell blocks. It's making the room smell like bus exhaust.
Look at that. The smoke.
I'm gonna run down the hall with it.
Okay.
It gets bigger as you run because you're giving you more oxygen. Wow. And you feel that, right? It's making the hallway noticeably hotter.
Mm-hmm.
Want to hold it for a bit?
No.
Want to walk first? So I'm not suffocating you with it. You still recording?
Yep. It's okay, I'm okay.
Alright. It's like bus exhaust. Alright everyone, so I learned how to walk with it properly, where it doesn't produce too much heat. If I walk too fast, give it more air, it gets brighter. That's so cool. And it's producing so much heat right around me. Feels like it's super duper hot out. It's creating like bus exhaust, but I even see above you. It's like just by the ceiling. It's not even suffocating us, the exhaust. And this is a heavily ventilated building. There's not a single intact window or door. But I think this will actually run like 20 minutes. So we find another rag, we can make another one. For the next one, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. This is a lot of heat.
Looks cool though.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Want to go into the boiler room?
Mm-hmm.
Hey everyone. Tonight we are sleeping in an abandoned prison deep in the wilderness. Look at this torch we were able to make. This is a piece of metal we found. We found a rag made out of cotton. You can't use a rag made out of like polyester or any type of plastic because the heat will melt it and it'll be falling like napalm and even splashing. It's dangerous. But this one here, not gonna hold like that because I don't want fuel or anything to drop on me. But like this, just in case it drips. It hasn't dripped at all. It was brighter when I lit it, but this is making a lot of heat. It's cool outside already. It's already like 50 something degrees. But this is like heating the hallway, even with the open windows of the prison. So we got everything to make this in the prison. The prison's boiler room has these two 10,000 gallon tanks abandoned 50 years ago. They still have this much fuel in them, equivalating to like hundreds of gallons of diesel fuel still here from the heating system. And there's a little spot, you can just scoop it out of the pipe and it dribbles more out of the tank. It's like an unlimited supply of fuel. Just make a torch, you just dip it in it, it's cool. We took a little bit of fuel out of it. It's sad to see that the government would leave a building with hundreds of gallons of fuel in it, and the building, you could tell there was a major spill at some point. I think they abandoned it with thousands of gallons. Whole area of the building smells like diesel fuel, where we got this from. But it's not like gasoline, it's not flammable. It has to be burning on a wick like a candle. Like I could throw this into that room full of the diesel fuel, and unless there's things on the ground to light it, it wouldn't light. But that's still dangerous. We're not going anywhere near that room with this, just as a precaution, because you could light debris that's on the floor on fire. But this is so cool walking around a scary abandoned prison like this in the middle of the night with an old-timey torch. This is so cool. Let's take a walk around in the cell block. Eek! Now you're falling behind.
Yeah, but I was...
You can turn your light on too if you
Okay.
want.
I just kind of want to have the ambience of that.
Alright, everyone. So this thing started to die off. When I lit it, it was very bright. Now that the fuel isn't on the outside layer of it, it's more manageable. It's actually nicer. At first, it was producing an insane amount of heat. So this is one of the cell blocks of the abandoned prison. There's 800 cells. This prison has 3 wings of cells, and yeah, there's 800 of them. 2 floors. Underneath us is a very scary basement. The boiler room on this place is amazing. It's really cool walking around with the torch. This place is so open. The exhaust of the diesel fuel or heating oil that it's covered in isn't bothering us. It's staying up by the ceiling. This is actually producing a beautiful amount of heat on this chilly night. Doesn't project anything really. You can't really see what's down the hall like a flashlight, but it's working nice. This torch is working beautifully. Maybe we can find another piece of cotton or something in one of these rooms. Like, people leave behind all kinds of shirts, bedding. But the thing is, most people's clothing these days is fake. It's made out of processed materials, mostly plastic, mixed into it. But we've managed to find a towel that's pretty high percentage cotton, if not totally cotton. We gotta find another towel like that to make another torch. Hey, there's more apples in here that we didn't put in here. There was an apple tree outside I've been eating from. Wonder if kids been throwing them around. Look at that weird dead skeleton. It looks like maybe a possum. Look at the tail. We saw that in here last time when we explored this place in June. It's now September. Every now and then we like to look out on the horizon because we'd see flashlights. This place has such a big view into the prison fields that we'd see a flashlight coming 20 minutes or 10 minutes before anyone got to the building. There was a lot of people exploring today. Some people stayed multiple hours. One person must be local, was only here for like 10 minutes and left. We don't know if anyone's gonna show up in the middle of the night, but this place has such a far view of sight. We have early detection, and also if you listen carefully, it's so quiet. There's not even the smallest breeze outside. When the last people left around twilight, we could hear them 10 minutes later. They're gravel. It's so quiet that far away. So every now and then we just pause and listen. In a little bit, we're gonna go down in the scary underground tunnels. There's scary tunnels that go between all the cell blocks. They're steam tunnels. They're shortcuts for the boiling steam from the boilers to get around the building to all the radiators and stuff. It's inefficient going around all the wings, so it goes straight under through steam tunnels. but those areas are absolutely covered in asbestos, and we'll have to wear masks going down there. But we're still not going to purposely stir it up, and it helps a lot. The tunnels have mud that's wet, so we're not going to stir anything up unless we actually touch it. But we'll go down there later with actual flashlights so we can see far away to make sure nothing's coming towards us. Because there's poops in here, there's dead animals in here, so definitely coyotes, raccoons, something comes in here at night. Also on the walk in here today, there was tons of bear poops. We saw dozens of them on the over an hour walk in here. This place is awesome. I didn't say it in this vlog yet, but this place is an abandoned prison farm closed back in the 1970s. Prisoners of minor offenses would come here and they'd get a reduced sentence by doing farm work. They would do something, they would learn a valuable trade on a farm, running a tractor, raising livestock, planting stuff. It was a good thing for them, and they would get a lesser sentence. But even though it was their choice to come here and work the farm as a minor offender, do something valuable for the community for less time, it's still thought to be inhumane, and this place was abandoned in the 1970s. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's on a property that's currently for sale, $299,000 Canadian, just under 200,000 American, and it's got 35,000 acres around it of land for that price. Why is the price so cheap even for the land? This building is going to be a nightmare to clean up. There's thousands of gallons of diesel fuel spilled, leaking into the ground. It needs a really big restoration, soil remediation underneath the floor. The asbestos in here is insane. So if it was just the asbestos, you could dig a massive hole on a rainy day, bulldoze it so there's no dust into a hole, but there's a environmental nightmare of this fuel that leaked everywhere and is still in the tanks currently leaking. And you see it's still flammable after 50 years. Diesel fuel, heating oil, you're not going to want to put it in a truck when it's that old, but it's still flammable. It'll still burn. It is still combustible. It's just degraded a little bit. It'll run more inefficiently. It'll run dirtier. I know when I had an abandoned oil tank removed from my house, the guy didn't even charge me hazmat because he said he's taken the fuel that he found in it that was 20 years old. He's going to heat his shop with it. This is slowly getting dimmer, and I don't know. I've never made a torch like this before. I don't know if it'll go out or we could just pour more on it. I think if I had the bottle, I could just pour more over it because it's not gasoline, it's combustible. It doesn't go poof. You can just pour more on it. It's like lighter fluid. Actually, it's less combustible than lighter fluid. All right, we made it to the main corridor. Someone was sleeping here. That couch, the rest of it's down there at the end of the hall. So it looks like at the end of every wing, there's like a living quarter for a guard. There's beds. It looks like it used to be probably a kitchen. There's cabinets in there. Then there's more living quarters. We even found an intact bathtub. And down here's the offices of the prison. I don't know who lived there, what guards or warden. There used to be double doors, all kinds of security doors at every single wing, but they've all been scrapped, we think, by the government, the way it's neatly taken out of here. But that's another cell block. Goes around a 90-degree corner, down hundreds of more cells. There's stairs going upstairs to even more of them. Down here's a gym. No, actually, this is the cafeteria. The gym and auditorium are upstairs. I don't know how much you can see with just this torch, but this is the cafeteria. In there is the kitchen. Is this showing up on camera decent? Can you see enough?
Let me see if I can turn the brightness up.
You can't unless not in that mode.
Oh.
But can you see a lot?
I could see a decent amount.
All right. That's all I was asking. But I'm going to use my headlamp a little bit just for the rest of this vlog. So this right here was the lunchroom. I don't know if you can see outside on the camera. That's the whole nother cell block right there, just like the one we walked in on over there. Take a walk into the kitchen. Take a little look around. So right here was probably ovens or something. Up above right here was probably a gigantic oven hood. You see where it would have got sucked out right there? Ooh, a bird. We're scaring a bird. Yeah, there was something flapping in here earlier. It might have been that guy. I thought it was an owl, maybe a bat. We heard an owl in the distance. Bicycles. Maybe someone wrecked their bicycle on the ride in here and just abandoned it. Last time we were here, there was a sleeping bag. Someone stuffed it so it would look like a dead body. It was actually kind of scary, but I touched it on the head, and I already knew that because there was another footprint on it that it was fake. Someone else already fell for it and gave it a tap. And here's just some ventilation access to clean out the dust. Covered in asbestos though. Right here, this 1, 2, 3, these are all giant industrial sized freezers. Oh, it's getting cold. We're out on the loading dock. This is where trucks would have backed up, delivered all the goods to the prison. Right here's the freight elevator, which is crashed down at the bottom. There's some stairs that goes up top to a auditorium that we'll go to in a minute. Right here we have another loading dock. This right here may have been another storage room for food. I don't know what exactly that is, but and here's another massive walk-in freezer. There would have been radiators here, but that was scrapped. Hallways, all the areas for the wardens and everything, all the living quarters for the staff had radiators. Then there's giant air exchangers that steam would have gone through, heated up air, and it was forced air from there going to the prison cells. This looks like just storage, that's not a freezer. This looks like it was another freezer. It's got that thick insulation all around it. And in here, if you can tell, this is really cool. Look at these massive rotisserie things made in Ontario, Canada. In here, it's like a massive chicken rotisserie, but on such a massive scale. Look at that in there. Huge machines for making so much food. Another one over here. That looks like another walk-in freezer. Like at some point they needed more. This was an afterthought. You can see the way it's just added in here. Looks like another freezer. May have been an oven. I'm not really sure what exactly that is. Still looks so cool. Over there, there's yet another walk-in freezer. That right there is another pantry with shelves, probably massive amounts of canned foods in there. Cafeteria sized. Now, this torch is running out slowly and you see little pieces of it flaking away. This thing's about to go out. We'll have to make another one. But the whole building's concrete. We're not worried about an ash starting a fire. This is so cool, this building. Let's take a quick look at the auditorium before we end today's video. Gotta go up one flight of stairs. A scary flight of stairs. We have not gone in the basement yet on this trip. Last time we came, it was flooded. We didn't get to properly explore it, but this time we can. It's not flooded. It's damp, which is good for the asbestos that might be down there. Going up a scary staircase with no railings. Yep, another full flight of stairs with no railings. From top to bottom, that's 4 stories. You would not want to fall down there. We're making the prison smell like bus exhaust walking around with this thing. Alright, so when there's the gym, which connects to the auditorium, we'll briefly look at that in a minute. And here's the auditorium. Very scary drop right there. Going way down there. Oh wow, that's the first time I've seen the screen in a while. That's illuminating perfectly. I love that. So right here's the auditorium. There's still a little haze of our smoke in here because this is the room we actually started the torch up in. You look down on the floor. Used to be a beautiful wood floor. Oh. You see? Look how small the pieces of wood floor were. They were like put in patterns, little squares, every other one crisscrossing. There's part of the floor that's still visible, but this one must have been a beautiful floor, very tedious. Look at the stage falling apart right there. I was up on the roof of this place earlier. It's not accessible. I had to put a rain barrel and climb up on that. Then I threw the rain barrel off the side so no one else would get hurt on it. Up there, this roof, even though it's reinforced concrete steel decking, parts of the metal trusses you see are bent. Up top, that whole thing is soft. Dangerous. Up there, there's water grass growing, sitting water up there on the roof. It was soft and scary. But then you got these big beams right above me. They're strong enough to hold a train. That's awesome. Yeah, right here is the last remnants of what the floor actually looked like. Over here is the best example. See that? That's what the floor looked like. So just imagine the whole room being crisscrossed like that, but vandalism ripped it all up. People were burning it, having fires. You can tell this is all burnt around it. And I'm going to show you one more room real quick before we end today's vlog. We got to find another torch light. Or maybe we'll wait on it and do another torch tomorrow, because we're going to spend a couple nights here. So this right here is the gym. Pretty cool. Should we end the vlog showing our tent on the roof?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Can't see it now because it's dark, but we're on top of that cell block, 3 stories off the ground. It's really cool. Yeah, let's go take a look at that. Maybe we could put a little more fuel on this that I collected in a Gatorade bottle. Alright, so we got a really weird way of getting upstairs. We gotta come over here into this room, and then, yep, we gotta shut this door, which gives us access to the stairs. Alright, and this room right here is where guards would overlook like whatever's going on there in the auditorium. These holes right here were for a giant movie theater camera, so they'd show the prisoners movies. Remember, these were low offending criminals, so they had a lot of perks living here. This prison sounds kind of cool. Learn a farming trade, but it's out of business now. That right there is actual roof access. But earlier I put a rain barrel right outside here. And you see it's probably 8 feet right there. The rain barrel gave me enough to just pull myself up and over there. That was pretty cool. So now we're walking around on this roof. So what we got here is underneath us, just the way that's built. It's built the same way. We got the metal trusses. Then we have metal decking, only 2 inches of concrete, a ton of tar, which is the waterproofing agent, then gravel's thrown on top of the tar to protect the tar from the UV light. And that's why the majority of this place is still in decent shape. Then we got a 2-foot drop down onto the main floor, level with all the cell blocks. Over here, I don't know if you can see it at night, this entire front wing is the main entrance of the prison, where the workers would live, where all the offices were. And you notice there's some trees growing on the roof, some of them 6 and 7 feet tall. They're all accumulating at the roof drains. Except for the top of the gym, this roof is in pretty good shape. There's a couple soft spots, even though it's a concrete roof, it's still soft because it's so thin and the metal underneath it has completely rusted from sitting water. This part of the building, none of the drains are really clogged, so pretty solid roof for years to come. Later, we're gonna have to just look at the stars. It's so beautiful. The thing is getting small. It's slowly flaking away. That torch started off big. Yeah, see, there's a little bit more oil right here in the pan. Maybe I could pick up. Yep, see? Got going big again, but we're gonna let this thing burn out now. This is the rest of the fuel we collected. We'll use that to make another torch tomorrow. We're just gonna let that thing burn out at the moment. Here's the tent. It's a 3-person tent, which I think is perfect. You have a little room for supplies because 3, you're packed in there like sardines. Perfect amount of room. Light tent, packs down pretty nice for carrying in. We didn't have any problems getting everything up here. This place has been pretty nice. Hopefully we don't have any unwanted company in the middle of the night. This was an active place in the daytime. Lots of people coming in here to explore. But everyone was super nice. The majority of people wave at you. Someone asked us for a bandage. We gave it to them, which I guess makes us feel a little better, meeting whoever's exploring the place too. It's nice. One more thing I'm going to show in this vlog. This is the first real test of this flashlight. I kind of nicknamed it the moonbeam. So it's got a low setting, medium, high, higher. That's as high as it gets. Oh, I was wrong. It had one more setting. All right, but this is why I bought it. Look at this. So we have a wide open field right here. We can see flashlights, or even in the daytime, people coming in 10 minutes before they get here. But this thing shoots so far away. It's foggy out at the moment. That's why you can see the beam. But that looks so cool, being able to see the beam. Look at this. We can see the smokestacks of the powerhouse, the generating building. We can look over here at the gym. You can't see it, but there's a whole nother cell block. This whole place is very symmetrical. It's exactly the same on the other side. But we're 3 stories off the ground, and look, you can easily look at the road on the way in. It only lets me do that for 20 seconds for some reason, then I gotta reset it. Probably because it would burn itself out. This thing gets super hot when it's making that beam. That is so cool. Listening carefully, because you'd be able to hear people walking in. Don't hear it. We can shut this thing off now. Love this flashlight. We also have, each of us have bear spray in case we encountered some kind of angry wild animal. Like I mentioned, there's bear poop all over the place. Also have a machete because this was not going to stop a rabid animal. And I hope today's video was interesting, everyone. Thank you for sticking through this 20-minute vlog. That'll burn itself out shortly. We have it in a frying pan just as a precaution. This is a gravel roof. Don't think we'd start a fire, but there is tar underneath that. Don't want to take any chance. We found a frying pan somewhere in the prison, and we've been using that to soak our torch for a little bit. This place is pretty cool. Now we're going to get that 100,000 lumen flashlight out and get some footage of the dark, scary tunnels. I got to get my mask on now because there's a lot of asbestos down in that part of the prison. But this is a very cool place. We're staying here for 2 days. Nice. Tomorrow's going to be warmer than today. Cool nights for sleeping, around 46. Tomorrow night will be like 50 something at night for the low. Today was 69 degrees. Tomorrow will be 75 degrees. Nice weather. And we're camping up here on the roof. Perfect. Thanks for watching.